after about a year navigating through this space and looking at different investments, and my partner's getting really excited as some of the investments that we've made now, they go to their next seed and the multiple has gone up, et cetera. And people love that we tell this story, that we use the open space and the spoiler and some other things that we had. As I started to meet more folks, I started to see kind of companies like TT and DPR and how they take that same sort of mentality and they sort of incubate the ideas that they have internally, right, to try and move them forward in a parallel path, right? So, like a consulting engineer, we have projects, and on projects, we innovate all over the place, and we try different things, and we do different things. And most firms, I would venture, are the same thing. But we realize that we need to carve out a separate parallel path, right, for us to really, challenge our employees to solve their problems and our client problems, and then backfill that with resources from a centralized standpoint, so that we can sort of move the needle, and basically really engage our folks and kind of like motivate our staff. And I'll give you an example. So we went out and we were like, all right, how are we going to do this? Right? There's no other MEP engineering firm that I know that has a corporate ideation program. So we start doing we start doing some research, right? We start doing research, and it's a pretty cool story. I found, I found some stuff on the internet, and we saw HP's idea funnel, right? We saw StageGate. You could pay for StageGate, and it's the boom, 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 boom stage way of doing ideation. We talked to companies like TT, DPR, and Jensen Hughes, and they have a certain sort of secret sauce for them. I looked at Disney actually. Disney's innovation story is super cool. If you're into innovation, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you look into that. Their approach to innovation, although not directly applicable, I love the way they have the dreamers, the realists, and the critics, and they have this sort of step process to keep the dreamers dreaming and the critics sort of below and the realists making it work. And we borrowed from all these things. And then actually, it's funny, one of the best innovation videos that we found is a video about Chick-fil-A online and how Chick-fil-A does innovation. And it's basically a totally decentralized approach. And I enjoy this. A guy by the name of, I think it's Kin Lee. Their process is decentralized, and they have innovation coaches. And at that point, it was kind of like ding, ding, ding. That was what we were gonna try and go down a similar path, borrowing from each one of these different innovation approaches. So we sort of went through the firm. I talked. I was looking for people who would be interested in this, and a bunch of people, overwhelmingly were interested, and we started coaching the coaches on what innovation is and how it could be. And in the same vein, at the same time, we put a workshop together that basically built our own process. So for better or for worse, we had our own funnel, whatever you want to call it, stage gate. And we labeled it, we called it SysDev. It's system development, for short. And we basically mapped out a process in the firm, a 4-step process where you can submit an idea. The idea gets sort of ruminated by people. We put a lot of thought into the idea and how it could, where it could be. And we focused on how this innovation could create value. And I think that's one of the things that, if you're in the innovation game, you really have to think about that hard. Innovation isn't just something different. Like a drone isn't really an innovation, right? It's how you use something different, a different technology to create value. So what'd you do with that actually created value for what you're doing? So you have to really work hard when somebody comes up with an idea like, oh, that's a great idea. We had tons of great ideas, but a lot of the great ideas just made the contractor's job easier, or it made like our deliverable look prettier. And at the end of the day, for us, it's like we want to grow our top line, we want to grow our bottom line, and we want to reduce risk, right? That's really what it kind of boils down to. It's an interesting journey to kind of get to that point.